Today we're going to be ranking fan favorite restaurants on Disney Cruise Line. Everything from dinner and a show to straight up classical dining. There are multiple dining experiences to be had on any Disney cruise ship. The way they structure their dining ensures that you are going to get 3 main dining restaurant experiences for your evening meals. Each of these 3 restaurants is themed to some degree, some with just classical dining and very subtle theming to be seen throughout the restaurant, where you go all the way to the other end with full-on shows during your dinner. This is called the rotational dining. You'll pick an early or a late dining time. Disney will assign you a rotation through these restaurants throughout your cruise, and you will have a 3-person dining service team that will travel with you through these main restaurants for dinner each evening. So the big question becomes here, which restaurants are the best? Now, if you don't know, every Disney cruise ship will have the 3 main dining options. They also have a buffet type areas. Cabanas on the Magic Wonder Dream and Fantasy. The Wish has Marceline Market. And one common thing I see a lot is that people aren't aware that the buffets aren't open for dinner. And of course, while you can order room service at any time of day, this video is about special experiential dining that they are going to have in the main dining rooms. Now we have to address the elephant in the room here, because there are 2 completely different dining experiences on Disney cruise ships. There are dining experiences with a show and dining experiences without a show. And as a general rule of thumb, one thing I will say, and this is not to ruffle anyone's feathers here, is that if you are getting dinner and a show, then the quality of the food itself is typically going to be a little bit lower than the quality of the food at restaurants without a show. Now, this is not because Disney doesn't care. It can be difficult to have excellent quality in food and entertainment at the same time. Now, if you've been to Hoop-Dee-Doo at Walt Disney World, you might have experienced this. The show for Hoop-Dee-Doo is just such a fun and immersive experience. The food there is not the best, but the whole combination is a lot of fun. It's a must for every Disney trip, for our family at least. My son absolutely loves it. And to be honest, I don't think it would be very fair anyway to compare something like 1923 with a restaurant like Arendelle. Even though they are both meant to be 5-star experiences, it is just not fair to compare those with each other. They're just 2 totally different worlds. Now, for dining experiences with a show, there are going to be 4 options. Arendelle, a Frozen dining adventure, and the Worlds of Marvel restaurants on the Disney Wish. The Disney Magic has Rapunzel's Royal Table, and the Disney Wonder has Tiana's Place. And while Animator's Palette does have show aspects, the characters and music dynamics are definitely not the same. The top fan favorite show restaurant is Arendelle, a Frozen dining adventure on the Disney Wish. It's got a lot of immersive entertainment. You're gonna have live performances by Anna, Elsa, and other characters. They're gonna have Frozen themed decor, and we really love seeing this Olaf. It is so cute. One of the standout fan favorite dishes at Arendelle is going to be their baked scallops appetizer. It comes with a puff pastry on top and is a big fan favorite at Arendelle. Arendelle is really a unique experience that blends dining with live storytelling, and the menu options are usually pretty good. There's a little bit hit or miss. The one thing for Arendelle is that it can feel really crowded, and it gets really noisy in this restaurant. Now, the seating at Arendelle is kind of a theater in the round. There's going to be a big stage in the middle of the room with all of the tables around it. This does make it a little bit easier to see, but it also makes the room quite crowded. After that, we are going to have Tiana's Place. This is on the Disney Wonder, and this is really a fan favorite for the live entertainment and the New Orleans inspired food. Of course, they're also going to have the famous beignets, but they're a little hit or miss. Tiana's Place is a rousing party. They're gonna have live jazz band. Tiana's gonna appear. They're gonna have a little bit of a parade. They have the Mardi Gras. It really is a fun experience. However, some of the food reviews are a little hit or miss here as well. If you are used to typical New Orleans inspired dishes, these might come off as a little bit lackluster. They do not have some of the strong spices that some may expect from New Orleans inspired dishes. Tiana's is going to have a traditional stage setup with the stage stage in front of the room. So if you don't want to be up close and personal with all that noise, you can request a table further back, but it's definitely still going to be loud in there. Worlds of Marvel is also going to have a unique immersive dining experience. The storylines can be a bit hit or miss depending on how much you like Marvel, and the restaurant combines live action sequences and screen technology to enhance their immersive atmosphere. There's a lot of fun theming in here. The restaurant's appeal is really broad because so many people do like Marvel, but for some fans, this show is actually a bit distracting. The frequent interruptions from the storyline and screen activity can kind of take away from the dining experience. It is also a bit crowded, definitely loud, and the food quality can be a little bit inconsistent. We really love that they have international inspired cuisines here though, and if you're not really a Marvel fan, this one might be more of a miss. Now, one that a lot of the tiny humans really enjoy is Rapunzel's Royal Table. Of course, this is fun for those of all ages, especially if you like Rapunzel. This is a lively, tangled theme entertainment restaurant featuring Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. They've got storytelling, lanterns. It's really going to be a festive atmosphere here. It is definitely going to be loud. And one fun thing actually with Rapunzel's Royal Table is that after dinner, sometimes they turn the bar into the Snuggly Duckling. They don't have that type of dynamic on any of the other ships. Again, this is going to be a really loud, interactive experience. There are a lot of characters in this one, but I feel like if you don't like Rapunzel, this one is more of a miss. They do have a great prime rib here though. Now, Animator's Palette is a bit of a show as well, but I kind of have it in its own category because the show at Animator's Palette is really on the screens around the restaurant, and Marvel does that as well, but Marvel is more interactive and with the characters appearing in the restaurant, where Animator's Palette is not going to have any character experience. Also, depending on which ship and how long your cruise is, they're going to have the dining with artwork that comes to life. You get to draw your own character and see it up there on the screens. That's a lot of fun. Fan reviews of Animator's Palette will sometimes say that the food there is not the best, and I did tend to agree until I asked our waiters recommendations. That changed the whole game. Now, the pasta pursuettes are a fan favorite. This is one of the huge reasons everyone loves the Animator's Palette restaurant. These black truffle pasta purses with the champagne sauce, they are really good. Our service team also recommended the lemon thyme marinated chicken and the sticky date pudding. These are both dishes I would not have tried without their recommendations, and they are definitely the best ones they have. One of the great things about Arendelle, Marvel, Tiana's, and Rapunzel is that they all have unique menus specific to those restaurants. We'll see if that changes once the treasure comes out, because they will have Worlds of Marvel and 1923, so they might have the same menu. We'll see, because Animator's Palette is the same on the Wonder, Magic, Dream, and Fantasy as far as the menu goes. They all have the exact same menu. So once you've experienced that menu at one of the ships, it's going to be the same on all of the others. With all of the changes coming to Disney Cruise Line lately, I would not be surprised if that changes in the future, but for now, that's the way it is. Now, in classical dining, the absolute fan favorite has got to be 1923. The Disney Wish took dining to a different level for Disney Cruise Line. They definitely have the best dining in the fleet, and 1923, just coming out a couple of years ago, has quickly become a fan favorite restaurant on Disney Cruise Line. It has garnered the fastest collection of 5-star reviews, with several hits on their menu, including dishes like the ahi tuna appetizer and this peppered filet mignon. These are two of the favorites, although people really love a lot of the items on this menu. And 1923 doing so well, while Worlds of Marvel is struggling a little bit in the popularity department, just goes to show you how universally loved 1923 is, which is why we're not necessarily comparing food in a show to food itself. And even though there's not a show in 1923, they have so much artwork and animation collectibles within the restaurant. It's a really unique setup and still an experience in itself, especially with great food. And for now, 1923 is only on the Disney Wish. They have a unique menu specific to that restaurant that is also a big plus in the food department. And that's because now that we get into the classical dining, you're going to see a lot of the same dishes from ship to ship. It's even going to have the same restaurant theming. Even though they have the same menu though, the food can can be a little bit different quality. For example, after 1923 are going to be the Royal Restaurants. There are 4 of these French-inspired restaurants: the Royal Court on the Disney Fantasy, the Royal Palace on the Disney Dream, Lumiere's on the Disney Magic, and Triton's on the Disney Wonder. While the menu is the exact same at each restaurant, the ambiance is going to be different. Triton is going to be themed after the Little Mermaid. Lumiere's, of course, is from Beauty and the Beast. The Royal Court and Palace are princess themed. These are elegant and regal atmospheres with really beautifully themed decor. There's definitely more room in here, and it's not going to be loud because there's not a show. That being said, main dining is a little bit loud just because of all the bodies in there. These are a more traditional French themed menu. If you're going to be on a 7-night or longer cruise, they will also have lobster night, which is a huge fan favorite at these restaurants. And if you are on any cruise longer than 3 or 4 nights, you are going to visit these restaurants more than once. You are not going to have the same menu during the same cruise. They will have the same menus at these restaurants from ship to ship, but during your cruise, you will not repeat the same menu. So you're going to be in Triton's twice, you're going to have 2 different menus each of those nights. And last but not least is going to be Enchanted Garden. This is on the Disney Fantasy and the Disney Dream. This restaurant is really beautiful. It's got a garden theme. It's going to go from daytime to evening throughout the meal, so you're just going to have some really subtle, beautiful theming in the restaurant. That being said, it is definitely the least themed, especially as far as Disney brand and properties go. The one dish that really does seem to stand out here is the sea bass. It is a huge fan favorite. That being said, a lot of the rest of it is a bit hit or miss. Now, we have found that even though these are the same menus on the Dream and Fantasy, the food has different quality. The Dream is just a bit better than the Fantasy. I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe they're doing a little more mass production on the Fantasy, I don't know. And the Fantasy is absolutely one of the favorite ships. If you enjoy quieter dining, you are going to want to go to the Dream or Fantasy. They are going to have the least shows available. If you really want that entertainment, immersive dining, the Disney Wish is going to have the most of that experience. And while Cabana's Buffet and Marceline Market are not open for dinner, they will be open for breakfast and lunch. There's specific times. Check your Navigator app for that. We absolutely have to put Marceline Market over Cabana's, though. Cabana's has a good variety, and they do have one of the huge fan favorites, the Mickey Churro Waffles. Those aren't every day typically. Just ask which day if you're interested in those. But Marceline Market is going to have more variety. They've got barbecue, they've got Donald's Cantina, they even have curry dishes. The chicken gets a lot of rave reviews as well. And Marceline Market is widely considered to be the better option over Cabana's. While Cabana's does have some fan favorites like the Mickey Churro Waffles, but aside from some more classic fan favorite options, Marceline Market is going to beat them hands down any day of the week. So if you are somebody that's going to be frequenting the buffets, that might be something to look out for. We really enjoy doing the sit-down restaurant for breakfast or lunch. There will be one main dining restaurant open for breakfast and lunch, and the menu will have changes from day to day. So right now it looks like the best individual restaurants are going to be 1923 on the Wish, Arendelle on the Wish, and the best paid experience is probably gonna have to go to Palo. I mean, the bang for your buck is just insane, especially with their brunch. Palo is their northern Italian restaurant. Palo Steakhouse on the Disney Wish is the favorite because they are going to have the northern Italian as well as fine steaks. Personally, I like brunch better, but I've heard a ton of cruisers rave about dinner. We'll call this one 50-50, and the chocolate souffle is one of the favorite items at Palo dinner. Make sure you give that one a try. Ashante and Remy are their fine dining experiences. Remy on the Dream and Fantasy, and Ashante on the Wish. And if you were looking for all-out fine dining, the best one is definitely going to be Ashante, with Remy being a close second. These are your fine dining, 5-star, very unique dining experiences. And just running down the list here, it really does look like the Wish has got a leg up on the others, especially if you are looking for that fine dining experience. 1923 is definitely one of the best classical restaurants. Ashante is going to be a really high-end, luxurious experience. And if you are someone that really doesn't want the shows, you're gonna want to go with the Dream or the Fantasy. They're both gonna have the same menus. The Dream will edge out the Fantasy just a little bit with better food quality. But honestly, it is really hard to go wrong with the food on Disney Cruise Line. There's going to be at least something for everyone. If you've ordered something and you don't like it, ask for something else. That's no problem. But whatever you do, don't try this lobster dish on the French menus. Now, if you want more coverage of all the food, I've got 2 spots for you. This Disney Restaurants Ranked, where we really dive into the food. There's lots of details here. And if you want an in-depth look at all the food available on a Disney cruise, we have a master guide for you. And if you are interested in learning a little bit about the food on the Disney Treasure, we do have a first look at a menu for Plaza de Coco. You can click the card or the link in the description below. And if you haven't seen it, go check out the new Disney Cruise News.